going to try this, and it will be a 60, let's call it 63-yard attempt. Spotted at the Bronco 47-yard line. Sam's a little hot. Ewan's kick. Oh, the line drive. It's got enough distance.
What is good, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rhett, and my brother's name is Ian, and we live a long distance away from each other. And we've decided on a Saturday evening before a Sunday of NFL football to kick it at such great distances. Ian, how are you feeling heading into the final week of the NFL regular season here?
Feeling like we're about to have the 1 seed in the AFC, right? I feel great. I yeah, what's not to like? I love where we're at. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk this year about how the Broncos have gotten to this point, but the reality is it is freaking hard to get the 1 seed in a conference, and we are
Speak on
knocking
it.
on the doorstep. So
Speak on it.
are you okay? You look a little chagrined.
I was I just had some if you see these string lights here
Yeah, they
set
look
up,
good.
one of one of the rows off camera just let go and swung, and not those are all glass bulbs.
No.
They're actually glass bulbs. Not a one of them broke. So I was just I
great.
was just going, what are the odds of that? All right.
About
Cool.
that. What an omen. What an omen.
What a great
for things
omen.
to
Yeah.
come.
I mean, speaking of, so I feel like we won last week. We defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. And what a world we're living in, Ian, where beating the Chiefs not super huge news. And in fact, I feel like a lot of people in the national media in particular, maybe some people around Denver media, were saying that this was not an impressive victory, that this should be seen as a bad thing for the Denver Broncos. Ian, what did you see out there?
Yeah, 2-0 against the Chiefs. I will not be adding further context. No, listen. Both things can be true. It was not an impressive win, but it was a good thing because we won the game. Rhett, you and I were just talking about this before we started recording, and to anyone listening, this will sound like copium, which is fine. I don't really care. If you look at that game, like if you actually watched the game, obviously it's not pretty to go into, like, this is the Chiefs JV squad, essentially, right? And we only win by a touchdown. But like that interception, Bo threw, that was really kind of a flukish thing. Nick Bolton made a heck of a play. That led to points for the Chiefs because it put them in a short field. Then we had that big, long punt return we allowed that gave them a short field. And then, of course, the really, I think, ticky-tacky pass interference call on Surtain that helped the Chiefs get down the field, kind of bailed them out a little bit. Those were the 3 instances that led to them getting points. Denver, we put up 20. Cortland Sutton drops a touchdown, right? So if you think about some of those things that went wrong that wouldn't normally go wrong, what we're really looking at here realistically, because Denver, I mean, I feel like it was obvious we kind of dominated the game. The box score did not show a domination. Okay. We're looking at what's really more of a 24-3 type of victory here for me, which I would have been great with if that was the final score. I wouldn't have had any issues because it's like that. We're winning by 3 scores. Now, obviously, that's not what the final score was. The final score was 20-13. But I mean, look, Chris Oladokun, which, by the way, Joy Oladokun, take that L, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel? No. Chris Oladokun, the dude had 66 passing yards. So, like, everybody, like, I keep seeing these things of, like, the Broncos are competing for the 1 seed, but they got walked down by Chris Oladokun. No, we didn't, actually. Chris Oladokun, like, he had very little impact on the game. I think that the Chiefs made some more plays in the running game than we would have expected them to. And then like they played a pretty solid game on defense, and they still had like some starters playing. So a lot of it is overblown, Rhett.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be gaslit into not being glad about a win. Sorry, I just won't. We're competing for the 1 seed tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is a good thing. It's a win that we got, and I mean, look, you and I were in a terrible place after that Thursday night Raiders game where we won 10-7. And then the next week, we beat the Chiefs. Bo Nix plays a terrific game. There's a completely different perception. We've experienced highs and lows throughout this season, but the one thing that has been a common denominator is the Broncos continue to win. So I feel good about this, man. I'm not going to be nitpicky about, it was the Chiefs backups and, whatever, man. Just enjoy the win. Be grateful we're here. So,
Yeah, I mean, like, I think we have to remember who the team is. Like, this isn't early in the season. We should no longer be holding our breath and being like, who is this team? This team has told us who they are through the entire season. This is a team that wins. We have 3 losses on the season. 2 came on the last play of a game. 1 came from Trevor Lawrence just absolutely turning into Superman for a week, and that happens. I went back and was looking at some of the base stats to remind myself how that Jags game went, and we weren't utterly dominated in yardage. We weren't utterly dominated in stuff. It was just they got touchdowns every single time they went into the red
they
zone.
were the better
And
team that day, and I'm
yeah,
fine
and
with
they
saying
they
that.
converted third downs like crazy. Like they got stuff, like they had a really good day. We had a really bad day. And uh that's all right. This team has had one really bad day all year. That's wild to me. This is a team that's consistent.
Yeah.
The second Raiders game and the second Chiefs game have played out incredibly in 2 incredibly similar ways. This team, instead of choosing to try to pour it on a team, we dominated them by squeezing them out like an anaconda. And both the Raiders and Chiefs got a little bit of luck in terms of when they spun that chaos wheel. They got positive results a couple times. They got a random
Yeah.
interception, like you said. They got
Yeah.
and typically when you see a team like, oh, hey, we're a lot better than them, you don't you usually want to say, hey, let's score a lot, let's get on top of them, because you don't want the game to actually be all that close. And Denver was just comfortable with continuing to play our own play style. We played them as if they were the better team stylistically. We kept the ball away from them, and we
We did.
dominated time of possession. We did
Yep.
stuff that makes the game close, because then when it's close, you have a shot. And this was a team that was confident enough to say, we're still going to do that. And that is going to give the other team a shot to win. And we're just going to win there too. And that's all right. It's the way that the Denver Broncos play football in 2025 and in 2026 now. We run the ball, we possess the ball. We don't have incredible dynamic playmakers all over the place. Sean Payton's offense is based on the ball can go to anyone, anywhere, at any time, and we have bled teams out before. We will bleed them out again. This is who we are. We can't
Yeah.
freak out here. This is what we do.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about the makeup of this team, let's look at our 3 losses. We lost by 3 points to the Chargers, playoff team.
Mhm.
Okay, they will be in the playoffs. And this was before like all their offense, like Alt played that game.
Yeah.
Benito kind of whooped up on him a little bit.
This was early in the season before they had a chance to
yeah.
get super injured.
We lost to the Colts by 1 point. In a way, like we've talked
On
about
a
it enough,
leverage call.
On a leverage call. This was back when the Colts had Daniel Jones, and they were at the time. We didn't know it at that time, but this would be a very good team. And then unfortunately, Daniel Jones goes down, and that kind of derails their season. And then we lose by 14 to the Jaguars, which losing by 2 scores is never good. But that's a team that there is a pathway tomorrow that they could end up with the 1 seed. in the
Mhm.
AFC too. So they're a really, really well-rounded, good football team. They're playing well on both sides of the ball. So I mean, you look at that, but then you also look at some of the wins we've had. We've had wins against Packers. You know, we've had wins against the Eagles. That's a playoff team.
Mhm.
The Eagles, kind of a team that we like overcorrected a little bit early in the season, like, oh, they're not as good as we thought. But now they've played really solid ball, and it's like, no, they're actually still good. The Texans, another team, like that one has aged very well too. So we've put together quality wins against quality opponents. We've lost a few games against very quality opponents. If you are a Broncos fan feeling imposter syndrome about possibly being the 1 seed, you shouldn't feel that way because we have a good football team. Uh, there's not like a fluky way to win, 13 or 14 games. There's just not. So, anyways, yeah.
I love it. I appreciate that we're 10 minutes into this game. We haven't gotten into any specifics whatsoever because
Right.
honestly it didn't feel like a game overall of specifics. It was kind of we went out loved that RJ Harvey looked very dangerous
Yeah,
in the game.
sure.
Loved that from him. Um it just
There's
felt like
only sorry, go ahead.
we were just out there to do a job and handle business, and we did. And I think my continued tin hat theory, which is the defense has looked a lot worse since the bye week. I think Vance Joseph has some stuff in his pocket that maybe he would like to do to fix it, but I don't think that he was going to use any of that stuff on the Chiefs. Like I
Yeah.
my because
Well,
up until the Jags
and
game, they'd won every game, so it's fine. They lose against the Jags,
both
maybe we need to
both
do something, but we're not going to do that
right.
against the
And both
Chiefs.
Vance Joseph and Nick Benito have both kind of addressed this week. Like,
Mhm.
the sacks aren't there as much as they were at the beginning of the season, but they have been trying to cage quarterbacks a bit more,
Mhm.
and contain,
Mhm.
and they're still generating a good amount of pressure, even though the sack numbers aren't there. So I'm not super concerned about it. And you make a good point about, like,
Mhm.
hey, maybe VJ's got something up his sleeve he's saving. Rhett, you didn't talk about the best RJ Harvey play of the night, which is where he lines up in the Wildcat and Chris
Hey.
Jones, the veteran, great player, jumps off sides.
Oh,
After the game, Sean Payton says, "Yeah, we weren't going to run that play. Like, we weren't
no.
snapping that ball. That was really, really bad play. With due respect to Chris Jones, who
Yeah.
has had a fantastic career. That was probably the funniest moment of the night to me.
That was super
Um,
cathartic too. To beat a team like the Chiefs that beat us doing those exact things for years and years and years
sure,
and making the plays that would make Chris Collinsworth go, man, that's just the Chiefs, they just do stuff like that. They're
man.
gonna get you to build,
Let's listen.
like oh, that was so good. And to watch, like, I, I didn't realize. I thought that uh, Chris Oladokun had a. I was sitting there thinking, oh, I guess he had a good game against us because of the commentary. Not to go in too much on the commentary, but like I was feeling like, oh wow, this kid's like actually coming out and kind of impressing. This is something here. No, it wasn't. He didn't even have 100 passing yards. Like he had he had drives that were started, like that off of turnovers and off of big returns, and then he had a couple like third down conversions that were impressive, but that was actually like I forgot that there was nothing else beyond that. I'm remembering
Yeah,
the entire highlight package and going, "Oh yeah, he must have had a good game." He didn't do a thing outside of that.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
No, no.
That was nuts.
You sorry to deviate a little bit from your point. You mentioned Chris Collinsworth. I think he is becoming aware of his like shtick.
Mhm.
So I was watching, I don't remember if it was Sunday Night Football or Monday. It was the Bears 49ers game, which was
Mhm.
just awesome, by the way, like one of my favorite games of the year.
Mhm.
I was watching that with my father-in-law, and he had so many of those like he compared Brock Purdy to Mahomes. He compared that I think it was Jake Tonges or whatever for the 49ers,
Mhm.
like compared him to Travis Kelce. And then I think he like compared Kyle Monangai to Isaiah Pacheco. I was like, this dude can't help himself. I think he's like leaning into the bit now. Uh, I don't know, but
You know
Like,
what? Whatever you
he
need to
can't help
do,
himself.
he like it's. Listen, you can't start trying to stay relevant after you've left relevancy. You know, you got to start. You got to prepare while you're on the top. We
It's just
respect that. Logs on the
it's
fire, man.
it's also just funny because it's like, okay, you've got, Patrick Mahomes, you got Travis Kelsey, two of the best at their position to ever play. And then it's like he says Isaiah Pacheco, and it makes me think of that meme with like a three-headed dragon where two of
The
them
two
look really
dragons.
fearsome, and then one's like this like baby face cartoon looking one. It was like, oh my gosh, you're doing Isaiah Pacheco comps. Uh yeah, pretty funny stuff.
Yeah.
But
Dude,
anyways.
Kyle Monangai needs to like his people need to reach out to Chris Collinsworth and be like, "Hey, what the heck, man? Don't keep don't keep those comparisons out of your mouth, bro."
Yeah. Shout out Chris Collinsworth, friend of the podcast.
Yep, shout out. Listen, we're gonna
Don't
start
ask
a
him about it,
weekly.
but
We're gonna start our weekly segment where we punch up.
you
We're
darn
like
right.
we're taking someone in media down every week.
We are.
Um, just going after it. Yeah. I don't have too much else to say. I do want to say really quick, shout out Nick Benito for winning both the Demarius Thomas Good Guy Award and the Darren Williams or the Demarius Thomas Player of the Year Award for the Broncos and the Darren Williams Good Guy Award.
Mhm.
Both. Um,
Yep.
it's really hard to be good at your job and a cool person. Trust me, as someone who's not necessarily great at their job, uh, makes it way easier to be a cool guy.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on Nick Menino doing the double?
No, that was impressive, and it was good to see. It's kinda cool to see how he's grown. I liked seeing him win those awards because while I've enjoyed watching his growth as a player, I really don't know a ton about Nick Benito, the person. So,
Mhm.
it's just kinda cool to see that, we rewarded him for his on-field play, um, because he's really grown, but then also it seems like he's just, been a really good steward of character during his time as a Bronco. You always like to see that,
Mhm.
because those two guys you just mentioned, you know, DT and Darren Williams were great dudes, and they were taken from us too soon. And so it's always good when you see players reflect that kind of character. So yeah, good for Nick Benito, man. Nicky
Yeah.
Hendricks, how about you,
You
dude?
know what? Yeah,
Uh,
Nick Benito stonks up, man.
hey,
Hey,
that's right.
he's on his way
I
up. Look at
I want us to get some of those like
it.
earlier you said something about this team being who we knew they were or something, and I wish we
Yeah.
had like a little sound effect of Dennis Green. He's like, they are who we thought they were, or
But I
whatever that
got
was. They are who we thought they
yeah.
were. We let them off the hook. That's like an all-time great soundbite.
Yeah.
So
Oh man. I want to know
yeah.
how are like this isn't me questioning the results. I'm so happy with the results. I really want to know how are these things voted on and who is voting? Was it the same like is it the players voting for both? And like that's even more impressive because if you're a
Mhm.
player and like did you get the ballots at the same time and are you sitting there being like, all right, like I am gonna vote both for Nick Benito. Like that's like I know that
Right.
like did he have to overcome that or was it
Mhm.
like the media votes on one, the
Yeah.
players on the other, or the coaches on one? I want to
Well,
know a little bit more about that because I also just I I'm interested in the process. I want to know maybe who got second. I want to make sure that everything's hunky dory in this process.
yeah. I don't know,
Gotta.
but I mean, it definitely says something if you end up winning both of those awards. Also, I
Mhm.
don't know if we did it in past episodes, but shout out Garrett Bowles for being our team's Walter Payton Man of the Year
Dude,
nominee.
shout
Uh,
out Garrett Bowles.
would love to see him win that. Garrett Bowles, who like, I think this is pretty easy for me to say with confidence. Uh, uh, I want a ring for him more than anyone on this team.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I just like the thought of us winning and like him like being able to hold that Lombardi and like the whole family comes out and he's got like Kingston and he picks him up and no, that's
Mm,
I need it. I need it like I need oxygen. I need everything good to happen for Garrett Bowles. So
I do as well because that man is there a man on this earth more comfortable with like openly and in a non-performative way fully expressing his emotions than Garrett Bowles? What
I don't know.
what an earnest king, man. He really
We love an earnest king.
God, we love him. I
We
made a
do.
whole slide about him holding, and I do feel bad about it still, weeks later. I'm not even going to show it. Uh, let's talk about it. We got a game tomorrow, Ian. We're playing
Let's do it.
we're playing the Zombie Chargers. Um, I don't like both because I'm not exactly how many of the star. I'm not sure how many of their starters are playing. I'm not sure how many of their starters are actually their starters.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. So I can
the
shed a little.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
sorry.
want to say, just give the. I'm going to ask you a question that I have texted you earlier this week, but the Vegas line is 12 and a half. They
Okay.
think that the Broncos are going to win by 12 or 13 points. Is that too much, Ian, for this team?
No, I don't think it's too much, but I kind of do. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna put any money on it, but like, sorry. No, I mean, I think that's an appropriate number. Listen, there's some that we know for sure are not playing. Justin Herbert, like that was the first one we learned about. He's not playing. Omarion Hampton will not suit up. I believe Kamani Vidal won't either, which is an underrated big one
Oh,
because Hampton went down and Vidal really, you know,
hmm
he really stepped up in terms of kind of being that volume uh, runner for them. And then a few other ones that I saw, but also Harbaugh has dropped little nuggets of the past several days of like if people have any sort of injury, they're probably not going to be playing. He also made a comment, I think either today or yesterday or maybe a couple days ago, of like there may be some guys that are starters that'll dress, but they're not necessarily gonna, start the game or get playing time. So what I take that as is uh Harbaugh just being diplomatic about saying like, yeah, we're resting starters. You know what I mean? I think we can expect most of their starters to probably not play. Um, Now, some of them still might. Who knows? But I would expect this to largely be similar to what we experienced with the Chiefs, which was kind of like are kind of going against the JV squad a little bit here.
hmm
So yeah, I mean, obviously it feels comedic to say given how we handled the Chiefs last week, but no, I don't think that line. I think that line's good where it's at, and we should win this game pretty easily. So
Yeah, I've heard some of what Harbaugh has said, some of the things he signaled, but Ian, it's Jim Harbaugh, baby.
it's
Do you
Jim
think
Harbaugh.
Do we put it past Jim Harbaugh to spend a whole week talking to the media saying, "Hey, we're not trying for this. We're not trying for this. We're going to arrest guys." Does that sound like Jim Harbaugh to you? It doesn't sound like Jim Harbaugh
No,
to
it,
me.
it, it doesn't,
Does
and
lying to the media and then trying to beat the Broncos just so that they don't get the one seed, does that sound like Jim Harbaugh to you?
yeah, it
Sounds
totally
like it to
does.
me.
It
So
totally
we'll
does.
see.
But I think that like the Broncos coaching staff has kind of said this week, like we're preparing for as if their starters are going to be playing. So you know,
Better be. They better be because
But yeah, no,
uh
I that totally sounds like Jim Harbaugh. I, to be honest, was a little surprised that they did go ahead and sit Herbert. Now you kind of have to because I mean that dude's been held together with duct tape, like,
mhm.
and he's been. I mean, let's give Justin Herbert his flowers. He's been incredible. Uh, he
he's
has
been
kept
he's been so good.
He's kept that offense going, man. I mean, and you even saw it in that Texans game. I mean, he even despite just getting torn in half, he was making plays.
Making three
Um,
guys miss just to
he
drop a
will.
dime to a guy who's gonna drop the pass. Just
I would argue a lot of like that. Our first meeting with him earlier this year, like they won that game because Herbert made a few just like Superman plays, and he's done
Mhm.
that against us plenty. Um, Really, really talented quarterback. One of those guys that like the argument about quarterbacks and where you rank them, the lines get really blurred because for some people we take winning into heavy consideration or playoff postseason winning, and for other people we don't. Herbert's one of those guys where it's like you kind of just have to watch to see how amazing
Mhm.
he is because when you watch him, it's like this is clearly a top 7-6-5 quarterback
Yeah.
in the NFL. So yeah, I mean, respect to Herbo. I personally, Rhett, not that you asked this, but I think it's
Yeah.
probably smart for them. Like, yeah, let him rest. You need Justin Herbert, okay? There are
Mhm.
a lot of other really good players on your team that if they went down, like Derwin James, phenomenal player, okay? If Derwin James got hurt, that would be a huge blow, no doubt about it. You could still survive and keep going and make a run without him. You cannot go any further without Justin Herbert. So,
Mhm.
I think it's the right call.
Yeah, I agree. If I were Jim Harbaugh, then Jim Harbaugh wouldn't be Jim Harbaugh and he'd be me, and I would be doing
Ooh,
this exactly as Jim is saying he's doing it. Because if you look at the playoff field, um, the Chargers are regardless they're going to be either the sixth or the seventh seed.
oh,
There is a mathematical way for them to get to the fifth, but it would involve, I think, the Texans losing to the Colts, uh, starting Riley Leonard, and the Jaguars losing to, or and the
yeah,
Bills losing to like the Jets or the Dolphins
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah,
Like
something like
like
that.
it is very much probably not. You can't hang your hat on that. Now the
Yeah,
fifth
and
seed would be worth fighting for if it were realistically available, because you would
yeah,
want to play the Steelers instead of
totally.
um, the AFC South winner or the Patriots.
Yeah,
But because of because of how unlikely it is, um, not like 98% of the time, your path to the Super Bowl looks like, regardless of a win in Denver or not, it looks like beating the AFC South winner, Denver, and New England in some order.
yep.
Um, Now the order can change, but those are the same three teams. So if I were the Chargers, it makes so much sense to to pack it in, and to, all, like, any player that's like dealing with something lingering, just like let them
Yeah,
rest. You know, give it a week, and say, hey, like, we've got a game next week that actually matters.
yep.
Um, that being said, I think 12.5 is absolutely free money.
Free
And
money,
I
free
did
free real
place
estate.
I placed a $5 bet on it. So we'll see
Nice.
if it's close. I get $9.54. So if the game is
Hey,
stressful, it will actually help me not be as stressed, because I'm like, well, I'm making money right now. I'm making
that's
money
right.
right now. Listen, we're only up 4. I'm making money right now. This is good.
You wouldn't
Um,
get it.
yeah,
Joker meme, the Joker meme. You wouldn't get it.
you did.
Uh,
Yeah.
listen, for the Chargers too. Like I'm looking at this situation for them, and like I gotta be honest. If it looks like, assuming we win, assuming seeding falls as we expect it to,
Hmm.
it looks like they're drawing New England in the first round. Gotta be honest. I think the Chargers could go to New England and win. I do. I
Yeah.
like. I we're talking about the Broncos and how they're frauds, and I don't think the Patriots are frauds either. But like they're the ones playing the cupcake schedule, okay?
Yeah.
Other than Buffalo twice, okay? Like they're the ones playing the cupcake schedule here. Like and Drake May, don't get me wrong, he might win MVP, and he's amazing.
Hmm.
I've always been in on Drake May. Okay, big fan of Drake May. I think he's better than Bo Nix. So New England fans who might be listening because you're Rhett's friend and you want to support him, just relax. Okay,
That's right.
sit back
Steve.
down. Sit,
Steve.
Steve.
Sit down,
Sit
Steve.
your butt back down in your recliner and
That's right.
relax. Okay, but I
Right.
think the Chargers will beat the Patriots. So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's my
I
take.
Listen, do you want to, as a team, go up to New England and feel like there's nothing to lose against the 2 seed New England Patriots, and and spend all week saying we're going to give them their first real test they haven't really seen? Or do you want to have to go back to Jacksonville or Houston, where you
No.
have recent bad memories?
And the vibes in Jacksonville are so intimidating right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
The vibes are on an absolute another level. Like, just
Listen,
somebody needs to handle those boys before
I
they.
can't imagine. We live in a world where there's two AFC South teams that I'm kind of like, I'd rather not see. It's the playoffs, so we have to see them. But I'm like,
Yeah,
ah, if
yeah.
if
I'm
if our path could be New England and San Diego, or in put it in the jar, New England and Los Angeles, I'd be a happy clam. I'd rather not
same,
play either Jacksonville or Houston right now. Those are the two
same.
teams that feel like the most threatening. Then Buffalo,
Yeah, Buffalo, I go
because
back and forth on.
they have the superhero button they can push.
That's
Um,
that's the thing with Buffalo, and I also feel like there's a little bit of like I'm afraid of like possible destiny because it's
mhm.
like, wait a minute, this is the year where Josh Allen doesn't have Mahomes in his way. Like, is he gonna
Yeah.
be? Is he gonna go to quote Vikings GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah? Is he gonna go zero dark LeBron mode or whatever it is? Do you remember? Do you
Zero,
remember
yeah,
that? Do you remember that?
zero
Like
dark Lamar. Yeah.
his first year as GM, he's talking about Kirk Cousins. He's like, yeah, Kirk's locked in. He's going zero dark LeBron mode, and I was like, what the heck? I was like, is that like a Chet Holmgren, like the 54 for Trey Ball? Is Odie shooting hang poles or whatever? Like, is this one of those
Would you
weird
shoot
things?
hang poles? Yeah.
Like, is this another? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why we're referencing all of that right now. That's my fault.
Hey,
But
um, no. So let's continue. I like that we are a strong um we are a podcast that doesn't believe in that if we believe in the football gods or if we believe in karma, we don't believe that we matter enough to change it. Um, I like that
yeah,
we're just speaking openly here. So let's assume for a second. Let's assume we go ahead and beat the Chargers, and let's
okay,
look at let's look at this.
done.
Um, how are you feeling personally as a fan
Hmm.
with the prospect of either the Broncos having their greatest shot to make it to the Super Bowl since 2015,
Right.
and one of their honestly like a top five season of like they're probably going to make the Super Bowl that they've ever had. Like this is one of the best shots that we've had at a championship as an organization.
Yeah.
How are you feeling with that compared to if we don't win the Super Bowl or if we don't win the AFC, we're going to have to deal with a one seed loss at home? Because
Sorry. Hold on. So you're saying like how am I feeling about the fact that on one hand, well, a Super Bowl is in our grasp realistically, like there's a shot at it, but
hmm
also there's the pain of like, but if we lose, we're going down as a one seed in our own house, and that's humiliating. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
because I kind of feel like I feel a little bit like the nerdy kid that got invited to prom by like the hottest girl in school, and I'm like, oh
Okay.
my gosh, the hottest girl in school wants to go to prom with me. This is
The
amazing. Things are looking up.
the one seed is the hot girl in
Is
this
the hot
scenario.
girl in prom.
Okay.
But if this doesn't go well, what if there is a chance that maybe she's actually like just leading me on and I'm gonna get there and all of the cool guys are gonna have balloons, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
filled with grape juice or whatever, and they're gonna throw me and I'm gonna be all like sticky and purple and they're all gonna call me a nerd in front of everyone. Cause like if we lose in the playoffs, it's gonna be bad.
Well, I hear you.
Okay.
I do agree. I mean, first of all, I was more of a jock in high school anyway, so um, no,
Oh. Yeah, he
that's
was the
not true.
coolest guy in the whole school.
We were homeschooled, which should be clear to you based on our
Not even
Rhett's
we
imagination of what high school is like.
hey,
Uh,
we didn't even go to like a co-op like homeschool situation. We didn't go to classes with the other kids that were being homeschooled. We were schooled in our house. We were half of the student body. So
it was not that far off from like, yeah, I don't know what I'm
like
trying to
we
say.
were
Yeah, we
either
were,
gonna start a podcast or a cult.
yeah.
And
Anyways,
it went podcast. Shouts, mom. Way to go. Thanks.
shout out, mom.
Guiding us
Uh,
safely to podcast instead of cult.
yeah, let's rein it back in here because
Okay.
this is getting a little ridiculous.
But the question, Ian, how do you feel? Big
So
pressure.
I guess Rhett, I'm not saying I don't feel those things too. Like you're right. Like if we in like the divisional round, a team comes in and takes us out, like that sucks, right? It's like, ah man, dang it, we're the one
Mhm.
seed and they just took us down. But I guess where I come from is like, but what's the alternative though? Like I prefer this to the alternative, which is like I'd rather do like, last year we were the scrappy underdog in the playoffs and we just kind of got boat raced in round one,
That's true.
right? Like this is
That's
hey,
true.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens, it happens. But like losing, you know, losing just sucks, regardless of context to me. Um, and yeah, it just sucks anyway. So I guess my mindset of it is like, yeah, that'll really suck if we get bounced like in the playoffs as the one seed in our own house. But I like the alternative. I like this better than the alternative of like, yeah, well, we get to play all of our playoff games until we were to possibly go to the Super Bowl would be in our stadium. I like those odds. And I like some of these teams that are really tough, right? Like there's a scenario where like if the Chargers do what I predict and they take out the Patriots, then the Chargers would I mean if they're the 7th seed, then that means they're coming to Denver to play
Hmm.
us again, and that would be the third time playing the Chargers. I don't I don't like the idea of seeing a team a third time, but if like two divisional teams do meet in the playoffs, I tend to lean with like, well, who's the home team, you know?
Hmm.
And then like with Jacksonville, like if we run into Jacksonville, which they're a scary team. Like, are they really going to take us down twice at home? Like, maybe,
That's true.
but
Hmm.
I don't think that's a given just because they whooped up on us last time, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know, man. Like, we got to just stop the imposter syndrome stuff because the reality is every single team in the playoffs, they have had moments where they've lost to teams they shouldn't have, or they
Hmm.
cut it close against teams that they shouldn't have cut it close against. And you know, like we're gonna be the one seed in this conference.
Mm.
You don't I don't care what anyone says, you do not fluke into a one seed. You just don't. So like
I guess
I-
that's true.
yeah, and I don't know, Rhett. Like here's the deal. This is something we kind of need to address too, since we're talking about it. Let's just accept the reality that given what the general commentary has been on the Broncos over the course of this season, whenever we do get beat, whether that be in the divisional round or the championship game or in the Super Bowl, like we're going to get lit up like in the media, on social media.
Specifically us.
We are personally we yeah the lockdown the long distance kick podcast. Uh but we'll have personal friends who will probably like bust our chops and everything. Like but like our team, Sean Payton, Bo Nix,
Hmm.
everybody's gonna be like Nick Wright's gonna be have found new life on First Things First. Like everyone's gonna enjoy it. Chiefs fans are gonna have a field day. Like, and we just kind of need to accept that. Like, yeah, as soon as we get bounced out of the playoffs, we're getting jumped. Like, it just kind of the reality, and that's fine. I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
I
I was thinking about this because the way the narrative has shaped the two conferences this year, they're both in very similar situations. I mean, we're going into week 18, and I think in both conferences, six of the seven playoff teams were have been decided, and there's a like a conference like a division like the worst division winner is still sort of up for grabs, and so whoever gets the four seed's the only thing up for grabs. um Very stable in that sense. They have some juggernaut conferences. They have a lot of teams that are very close together in win totals,
yeah
and
yeah
every team has taken a decent amount of losses, right?
yep
um in the NFC, the narrative is all of these teams are juggernauts and this is ridiculous. And can you believe the NFC? They're all so good. This is crazy. And the AFC, one team is going to go to the Super Bowl from the AFC, and that team will probably be seen as, oh, they were actually real the whole time. And every other team in the AFC is going to have people calling them fake. If the Bills don't win the AFC this year, everyone's going to be burying them and being like, they couldn't win this year. They're not for real. The Chargers are going to be called the Chargers when they are probably, statistically most likely to be eliminated from the playoffs at some point. The Patriots they're gonna look at their cupcake schedule and say they were gone. The Jags are going to be just called the Jags unfairly. The Jags are actually a super good team. There's no reason to doubt them. They are going to be doubted and cast aside just because they're from Jacksonville. Every team in the AFC is like there's going to be one legitimate team from the AFC. every other team's going to be a joke, and we just can't be one of
Um,
those teams. It's a joke. We just gotta go out there
well,
and show it, and we get to
and
prove
and
that we're
that
not a
just
joke at home
yeah, and
if
that
we
just kind
win
of goes
tomorrow.
to show though too, just like the um I don't know the word I'm looking for, but just like the volatility in terms of like reaction when it comes to like, people talking about sports, because it's like the playoffs have arrived and now it's time to figure out which one of these teams, like who among these teams are fraudulent. And it's like, well, these are the teams that all made the postseason. So
These are the not fraudulent teams.
yeah, like I don't
Yeah,
it's just a
this
weird
is.
thing to say, because like that's the thing. Like if Denver, let's say Denver gets bounced around in the divisional round in their first game, okay, and everyone will. I mean, people will be doing the whole like the Broncos were frauds all along. It's like the Broncos are probably going to be 14-3, and they got the 1 seed, and they had multiple impressive wins over quality opponents. Like, no, they're not frauds. They just lost a game in the
Mhm.
playoffs. This has happened before, like this happens every year. Every year there's only one Super Bowl winner, and it doesn't mean every other team was fraudulent. So
Mhm.
it is what it is, and that's what the national media is going to do, and that's fine. But we can just appreciate the season for what it's been, and I'm excited for playoff football. So
I can't wait. Um, Ian, we've got a little bit of time. We're only at 40 minutes. I want to throw one brief question at you,
okay,
um, to kind of tie up a loose end that we went into December with. Going into December, I asked you for your Mr. December candidate, and I just want to know on the backside, who do you think we should give Mr. December to? The
man,
the this award is a hallowed trophy given to a player that maybe wasn't as impactful in September or October or November, but
okay.
did step it up in December to help the team out or took their game to an even higher level in December. This is all about finishing the season strong.
So I'm looking up all the games that took place in December before I fully decide here. Okay. Um. So you're asking me who Mr. December is for me?
Yeah.
Um, I feel like there's a lot of different directions I could go here, and this might be like the obvious low hanging fruit, but let's just do it. I want to go ahead and give this to Bo Nix, man.
Ooh.
Uh, Specifically, like what stands out to me is like just his masterpiece against Green Bay. Um, the fact of the matter is, from the moment we were eviscerating him on that podcast back in, what was it, November, when we had the
Hmm.
ugly one against the Raiders, Bo Nix has been one of the better parts, one of the more consistent parts of this team. I still don't think he is perfect, and I still wouldn't say like the way I'd frame this up for us with Bo Nix is like last year when we drafted him, the initial question was, does he belong in the NFL? And I think over the course of his rookie year, he answered a pretty resounding yes, he belongs in the NFL. I think going into this year, the question was, okay, now can he be a franchise quarterback? Right.
Hmm.
And I think that the first half of the year was kind of like, I don't know if he's answered that yet. Like, I don't, you know, I would say now at this point, I'd say I believe that he has answered that question. Yes, he is a franchise quarterback. And now from here on out, the question is going to be, okay, so what does that mean? Does that mean he's going to ever be, top 10, top 7, top 5? Only time will tell for those things. But I will tell you, this back half of the year, he has impressed me. He's shown a lot of signs of growth that he really, in my opinion, he really hasn't regressed back to, right? Which is kind of the huge thing for me. Like he's had moments up to this point in his career where he'll do things and like, oh, that's good to see from our young quarterback. All right. And then a few games later, he will regress back to, all those things again. And you're like, oh my gosh, is this guy ever going to get it? Well, since that first Kansas City game, it feels like he's really just shown the growth, and he's been able to establish some consistency. Even in our loss to Jacksonville, like I don't I don't look at Bo Nix and say like, man, we
Hmm.
lost that game because of him. This close game against the Kansas City JV squad, I wasn't sitting there thinking like, man, Bo has just been awful tonight.
Hmm.
I really think he's found a level of consistency, and it's been good to see. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Bo. I think he's Mr. December.
Yeah, I love it. I think we're not seeing the bump in like point output because it sort of correlates with losing J.K. Dobbins, and so there's been a little
Yep,
bit of drop off. But I think so much more
totally.
has been on his plate over the last month that I
Yep,
think it's great. Bo Nix, we live in a post get your flowers world. I don't think there's a quarterback out there that really is ever going to truly receive their flowers while they are still playing the
yep,
game. I mean, um, maybe Pat Mahomes is past that, but Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson still have to wake up every day and face
yep.
questions about their game. Bo
Sure.
Nix has upgraded his questions. He is being
Yep,
asked more respectful questions. He's being asked better questions about his game,
yep,
and that's I think huge. Um,
yep.
I would say for me, I would hand Mr. December to his backfield partner, to RJ Harvey, who has stepped in as the starter since J.K. Dobbins has come down, and he has not filled in for J.K. Actually, he has just been himself
Right.
in in a larger role, but uh, touchdowns are kind of a fickle statistic to chase, but the
Yeah.
kids got 12 touchdowns this year from scrimmage. That's
Yep.
a hefty number, and that's the stuff that is needed. And it feels like so often. Really, we're starting to see, I think, a greater synergy between Bo Nix and RJ Harvey here the last couple weeks,
Yeah.
where Bo is
That's
starting to really trust RJ as a safety valve and is
yep.
starting to kind of and maybe this is wrong, but I'm seeing Bo like learn how to set RJ up to make something out of the okay, if nothing's here, I'm just gonna get it to RJ. And he's finding ways to set him up to make
Yeah.
plays. And RJ Harvey has made plays here and there. He hasn't been, like the loss of that consistent run game has been a detriment to the offense, but we have added, I think, a level of spice that
Yeah.
wasn't there before.
Yeah, man, I agree. He was a name that crossed my mind when I was thinking about it too. I think that like he's probably been the most like we talked about the Joker this offseason so
Mhm.
much. He's probably been the fullest realization of that for Sean Payton, just based on the plays he's been able to make out of the backfield. Um, I mean, look, I don't know that I would say watching him this year that he's a nut like he'll ever be like our bell cow.
Mhm.
But there is no doubt that he is an offensive weapon that has proved to be very useful to us. So I'm excited about that. Excited to see how his role develops over the next few seasons. And running back will be an interesting thing this offseason to address. Do we bring back J.K. Dobbins? I kind of would like to, but we are
Mhm.
going to need to add a back of the J.K. Dobbins flavor, whether he comes back or not, in my opinion. But all that is to say, yeah, RJ, um, when you look at his skill set coming out of UCF, what he has been for us this year, I think the vision has been like it's as far as relative to his rookie season, the vision has been realized.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's been a useful player for us.
I love it. I'm just thinking about 2026 and um maybe next season, how many different sets like Sean Payton drawn up plays that involve RJ Harvey and Marvin Mims being on the field at the same time and them like moving around pre-snap and messing with the defense.
Yeah,
And it's got me excited, man. It's got me
yeah,
excited for what he can be in this offense. He's not, like you said, not going to be J.K. Dobbins, but um the Broncos really have something in RJ Harvey. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Ian, uh, do you have a New Year's resolution for yourself or the Broncos or for the podcast?
My New Year's resolution, I didn't really set one this year. There's a lot of general things I'd like to get back to being healthier again this year. Made a lot of healthy habits in 2024 that I kind of let go of in 2025. So I'd like to take better care of myself physically. I want to just keep reading a bunch, which I tend to do every year, anyways. I would like to do a little more like writing stuff, whatever that means. As far as the Broncos, I would like for them to find a genuinely spectacular off-ball linebacker. Feels like it's been so long since we've had something like that. So whatever that looks like, there's a couple guys I really like in the draft. Yeah, I don't know. That's something I'd like to see them address. So yeah, I don't know. What about you?
For me, I'm not typically a New Year's resolution guy. I want I want to be more present where I am and more able to just live in the actual world that we live in. Because I remember so much that on the internet and social media, I feel like we're made to fight one another. We're made to not like each other. And I find that whenever I live in the world with people, I generally like people, and I like that. So I'm going to try to live more in the world. And uh, I feel like the Broncos need to live more in the real world, and I think the Broncos need to um, find actual good a tight end. I don't think we need to be looking for anything crazy. Like I love the Evan Ingram swing, but you know what? We don't need a tight end that's basically a wide receiver that's running out there and being super athletic. I hope that for the Broncos that we recommit to continuing to have like more Nate Atkinsons if
Well,
he can
just
stay healthy. More like just
getting like
go get it done.
a true like inline Y. Like
Hmm.
I wouldn't even be like I wouldn't say he's like a superstar in this league or anything. I think most fans would be underwhelmed by it. I wouldn't be mad if like we threw some kind of you know middle round compensation for like a Pat Fryermuth or something like that.
Mm,
Just to
mm.
like give me a real Y. And I know Troutman like plays his role, but I don't know.
But yeah,
Yeah,
like us, yeah. But you could soup up I would love a Pat Fryermuth. That'd
yeah,
be yeah. And
I
they got so many tight ends anyway. They don't need it. They don't need a Pat. They don't need
right.
Pat. They're good. They're fine.
Yep.
I love that. All right. Well, Ian, uh, happy New Year to you. It is to some people this is the final day that you can be wishing people a happy New Year. I wish you a happy New Year. And maybe, who knows, in less than 24 hours, we could be realistically looking at a number one seed, a bye week, uh, 2 weeks of rest for our starters, and maybe a potential Super Bowl run. You know, the Broncos have never lost a playoff game since we started the podcast. So
You're
could
welcome,
be.
Broncos country. You're welcome.
All right. Well, whatever happens, this is a team that's good, and we should trust them to be good, and we should appreciate one more regular season game. This isn't going to be going on for too much longer. We got maybe 6-ish more weeks of Broncos football up top. So let's enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night, okay?
Good night, everybody.